3, 2, 1, 0.
What is going on, everybody? 2 days after the Vikings take out San Francisco 49ers, and we have Leighton here to talk not just that, but also the Green Bay Packer game coming up, especially after we got some momentum here. This is Leighton with Strictly Football, at Strictly F Ball. Here on YouTube.
Strictly Football usually works for everything.
Strictly Football right on here. We have all that in the description. Go and subscribe to him. We got a couple people in the building already. We got our boy Gary in here. What's up? Let's fucking go. Skol Mates Packers week. Let's go. So that kid. So Leighton, what we usually do with our first time guests is have them share a little bit about yourself and how you became a Vikings fan. So I'll let you take over from here.
Yeah, for sure. So grew up in Minnesota. Basically 15 minutes from Minneapolis. So I spent a lot of times going to the games when I was younger and just kind of fell in love from there. Been going to games ever since, just followed them, just huge football fan, been played since, third through high school. So just a huge football fan and cheering on my local Minnesota Vikings. So
hey, let's go. So you were at the San Francisco 49ers game this Sunday. Yep. How was the energy there? I mean, let me ask you, how were you feeling before? Because, I mean, I have my opinion about it, but how were you feeling before this game? Where were you at, with how the season was going to, being at this game? Were you feeling much different? Are you more excited going forward? Were you kind of more on that purple Kool-Aid even before? Dave, I would say Dave's an example of someone he was rooting for us to turn this season around the whole time, where I was getting to a point.
Jamie was scouting quarterbacks.
Scouting quarterbacks. But man, this is a big game. This was a big game. I mean, we won this game, not just beating a good team in the 49ers, but the way we did it is what I needed to see. And that was the offense firing on all cylinders for all 4 quarters that we haven't seen since Kevin O'Connell became coach, I think, other than maybe week 1 of the Packers last year. So where are you at with all of that? How do you feel about that? Where were you at before? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I was kind of on the fence before, honestly. I thought the Vikings were a couple turnovers and a couple plays away from, being a totally different team to where it was, we're fighting for a playoff spot. We're fighting for the division lead. If just a couple plays goes our way in the Eagles game, Chargers game, whatever it may be, we're there. But then the other side of me was, if we still make these mistakes, can the Vikings actually win a Super Bowl? And there's the video of me celebrating. Yes. 49ers.
Yeah, I didn't have to pop up right away, but we could take a commercial break for watching Leighton Glodek. Try to high five all the 49er fans.
So,
I still I don't know why, but something brings a smile to my face when I see disappointed fans from other teams. It must be some sort of psychotic thing, but I don't know what it is, man.
Yes, for sure. Well, I mean,
make sure you rewind that and play it again because it was awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
It was it was a thing that was just happening all game. It's I feel if I'm in my home stadium, I shouldn't be heckled or tortured when the other team scores. And it's when they're shoving me in the back and, harassing other Vikings fans, it's they have it coming when the Vikings ultimately win. And, they sat there and they tried to talk stuff after the game, but ultimately anything you say bad about the Vikings, we can just fire back and say, then why'd you lose? Why did you lose to us if we're so bad? But getting back to the original question, I was kind of on the fence. I was looking at quarterback mock drafts too. I was looking towards the future, but I knew the Vikings were a couple plays away from getting back into it. I think, and 3 and 4 is just such a different feeling than 2 and 5.
Yeah.
And you look at how soft the schedule, I wouldn't say soft, but easier the schedule gets these next couple games. And if they can put some wins together, 4 and 2 in the next 6 or something, you're sitting there with a winning record. But, if you're 2 and 5 and you get 4 out of the next 6 wins, you're still sitting there with a losing record. And you're just season's looking rough. So it was a huge win. It feels like we've had 3 or 4 games now where it feels like the season's either going to go one way or the other. But
right.
ultimately the Vikings are still in playoff contention right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe we're half a game behind for the wild card spot.
Well, Buccaneers would have the
I didn't look into
tiebreaker
it, I
though,
just saw
but
it.
yeah, it's a half game out of 7th, but Buccaneers are 7th, so I guess it's really a game
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. So, I was exactly the same. Obviously, we just talked about it as well, but I was kind of like, if we lost this 49ers game, I think I was kind of saying like, I'd feel exactly the same way we did before because it was a game that we were supposed to lose. And the same thing when we against Kansas City, and same thing if we beat the Bears or Carolina, because we should beat them because they're two of the worst teams in the NFL. So, I mean, this is one, it's like, all right, if we beat the 49ers, then I think this is our last chance to really feel like we could turn it around. Like you said, if we lose this and we're 2-5, then what are we going to do? Even if we have an easy schedule, we're going to try to win just to have like 8 wins for the season or something like that. And then, miss playoffs and have a mid-round pick that no one wants, who wants to find that future quarterback of the future. And speaking of quarterbacks, actually, I mean, how do we feel about Kirk Cousins? That's another one. We won't dive too much into Kirk Cousins because we can talk about him for 3 hours, or seems like everybody can talk to him for 3 hours. But where were you at with Kirk Cousins and how do you feel about him? I guess for me, obviously he had a fantastic game. I'm still, even before I'm like ready to kind of move on from Kirk Cousins and go after a quarterback for a future, I see a lot of people instantly after this win, you see the Kirk lovers coming out and saying like, we got to extend him for 2 years and all this kind of stuff. Where are you at with Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, right now I kind of remains the same as what I was going into this season, and that was, this is probably Kirk Cousins' last year as a Viking. Not just because he's played bad and not because he's lost us games, but it's sometimes it's just time for a change. It's, Matt Ryan was in Atlanta for, so long, and it was, he got to a Super Bowl and honestly probably should have won one, but there's nothing bad Matt Ryan was doing in Atlanta. It was just time for a change. They want to move on and they want to find a young quarterback and hopefully build on from there. And I think the Vikings are honestly in the same position. I think it all kind of, comes back to how the end of this season goes. If we miss the playoffs, I think if it's anything short of maybe the divisional round, maybe the NFC Championship, I think they're moving on. But, if it is an NFC Championship, if it is a Super Bowl somehow, I feel like you got to go forward with them.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you, especially unless he's like really just the Vikings are tripping and falling their way to the Super Bowl and he's not playing good somehow, which I don't know how that is even possible with this team, but I think you got to extend him if he gets to that point. The other side is, I mean, if they do draft a quarterback, if Kirk wants to do another 1-year deal, maybe he'll do it on a cheap price, but I don't know. I mean, the way he's been playing, if I was him, I wouldn't take anything, under what I think I deserve. So
yeah, which is probably going to be in higher than I think the Vikings. Well, we would want to pay him, even if he's probably does deserve it as well. Like he is a good quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback. But like you said, I think we've kind of, we've taken that chance. Hey, we got Zone in the building. What up? We got Yogi in the building. Big Moku and Vikings Jerome. My guy Jamie, my card came. Let's go. Anyways, but yeah, that's how I kind of feel. What's that?
Let me chime in there. Like a while back, I did a little video on Jay Glazer coming out and saying, I don't think they want to, I think they want to keep him. And the viewpoint he had is they wanted to keep him in preseason. Like the news we had is that they were trying to negotiate. Kirk wanted 3. They said, no, we want 2. I want full guarantee. That was the talk, right? They didn't come to a thing. And I was like, okay, let's wait till the end of the season because he's actually bet on himself 3 times already, right? He didn't hold out. He just played the contract, played the last year of his contract like 3 times. And then he comes here, he gets extended for 1 year. Kwesi extended him. So all the information. And then when trade talks came out, Kirk wasn't even mentioned by, from insiders. It was Danielle Hunter. It was, it was 2 other, it was Danielle Hunter and 2 other guys. It wasn't Kirk Cousins' name wasn't even mentioned. So I think everything about moving on from Kirk, and I'm 60-40 thinking he's gone. And the reason being is the same thing you said, but there's no there has been no like talk or evidence coming from insiders that says, hey, they want to move on from Kirk.
Yeah.
And to some people's, disappointment. But like you said, I think it'll come down to, Kirk's not going to take a 1-year contract, not after the seasons he's having.
Right.
I know we're 3-4, but
still
second in the league in passing and first in touchdowns. That is not a 1-year contract.
No. There's definitely, no matter what, there's going to be teams out there that do feel like they're a Kirk Cousins away from being a championship team. And so, I mean, he's going to get paid. That's why, like, that's
what might make him too expensive for us.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if we are starting to look more forward to the future, which, I mean, that's the only evidence is last year, a contract not being done and letting it go for this last year. So, I mean, that's
Jamie, let me ask you this, because I know you're on this really on the side of moving on.
RAP in the building. Let's go.
Let's say Brian Flores does come back, doesn't get a head coaching job.
That's what I really want, but I don't think that's happening.
And we bring back this defense, and then we got Jordan Addison clicking. He's a 1B now. Justin Jefferson.
Oh yeah, like
TJ Hawkinson's playing well.
Okay.
You're gonna turn that over to who?
Drake May. So I think there's no question that, of course, I mean, but it's just, what do we want here? Do we think Kirk Cousins? It always comes down to, do we think Kirk Cousins?
I'm just curious, because that's what you'd have to do. Who would you turn it over to? That's what,
Yeah, I think you would end up doing, it would be the same team. You'd have a quarterback, a rookie quarterback, I'm assuming, or you go and find like a cheap veteran or whatever, assuming Kirk Cousins would cost too much. And then, I mean, yeah, you might build around a rookie quarterback. And obviously you have less money tied to Kirk Cousins that you'll be able to use, because you have a quarterback on rookie contract that you'll be able to use to upgrade other parts of our team. But the reality of that, yeah, I mean, no one's saying that a rookie's going to come in here and just make this team better than Kirk Cousins.
Oh, I know you're not saying that. I'm just saying that's
So I guess that would be what happens. And it really, I think it will come down to like a money thing and wanting to kind of go towards the future. I mean, no matter what, I think I want, like, even if we decided to give Kirk Cousins a 2-year extension, I still want the Vikings to go grab that quarterback, assuming it's not Drake May or Caleb Williams.
That. I think we're all on board with that.
Yeah, and early one. I still want one in the first round if you think you have one. I don't know. I'm on board on that. I think this is a really good draft for quarterbacks. So even if you get a mid-round first rounder, as long as we feel confident that's like our guy or whatever, I just think that's the direction we should go to, unless I do agree with Leighton, though. I mean, if we make it to the NFC Championship and Kirk Cousins is not the reason why we lose that game, he doesn't throw it, on third and
crossbody.
Yeah, whatever.
12 men in the huddle.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, if it comes down to something like that, then yeah, if we make the Super Bowl, you got to keep them around. If we were to win the Super Bowl, we beat the 49ers team, and we're talking Super Bowl here. If we were to win the Super Bowl, yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you want with this team for the next 10 years. I don't even care, but yeah.
But hey, Leighton, you've been looking at, you seem to watch college. You definitely watch high school.
Yeah.
Is there any quarterbacks you're liking in the draft?
I mean, there's a lot of them that I like. I think the Vikings held out on drafting one because, I think a lot of people wanted Will Levis. I think if Will Levis is in this upcoming draft, I think he's like a 3rd, 4th round pick. And that's why I think he fell so far in this past draft. And, I think honestly, with the system that the Vikings have, the weapons that they have, it's honestly going to look similar to what the 49ers are doing. They got Brock Purdy, who played a lot of games in college, compared to like a Anthony Richardson, who didn't. We know Anthony Richardson is going to take time to develop, but we know Brock Purdy's probably at his peak of how good he's going to be at football. Where Anthony Richardson hasn't hit that at all, just because Brock Purdy's played so many games in college. He has playoff experience in the NFL now. So a guy like Michael Penix, who has incredible arm strength, he's quick to release the ball. He's proven that he can make, reads in college and put trust in his wide receivers. He's wearing purple right now in Washington.
Mhm.
He looks good in purple. I would not be opposed to that at all. I think he is an outstanding quarterback. He's honest. I think he's leading the Heisman race right now, or he's
Yeah,
top
he
3.
was. He definitely was for sure.
Yep.
The last time I checked, so
So
probably.
I think he's one of the best players in college football. He doesn't have that, athleticism, Anthony Richardson, Cam Newton type prospect, Caleb Williams, even like
Mhm.
that. But I don't think the Vikings need that. I don't think they need, obviously it's nice to have that. But right now, with all the weapons you have, it's like, honestly, just get them the ball and let them do the rest. Exactly how the 49ers do it. It's like Brock Purdy's throwing, 5-10 yard routes, and the wide receivers and tight ends are doing the rest.
And
I think the Vikings could
not
easily do that.
he's not a statue, right? He's not Brock Purdy.
Yeah, no.
He moved it. He got out of the pocket.
Oh yeah,
he cost us a few runs.
right.
But and if you go with a guy that the longevity of guys that spent, make a lot of their money from running at the quarterback position do not last very long in the NFL.
No.
Some don't last through their rookie contract.
Through the rookie year. Talking about Anthony Richardson.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
even though
he comes to mind, but I'm not talking about him specifically.
Team screwing me over.
Yeah. But yeah, I was really hot after Richardson because I just had dreams of Culpepper in my head, and I thought this guy's even a better athlete. But like you said, he looked like he'd probably need to develop only because of the games. Like he hadn't had the games. So I'm just thinking, for longevity's sake, it's good to have someone that can move. But like Mahomes is not a running quarterback. He's just got superpower eyes behind his head. That he can move in the pocket and extend plays, and he picks his spots. That would be like obviously the epitome of if like a Penix is a guy like that can hit his spots, then yeah, you got your perfect quarterback again.
But, I mean, and even like a guy like Joe Burrow, I mean, he's not the type of guy to take off
Aaron
and run.
Rodgers.
Right.
He can, he can make plays with his legs and he can extend plays. So I think a guy like that, and I heard Dan Orlovsky say something today, and they said, if you're drafting a quarterback and you're spending a lot of money on him because of the way he runs the ball, a lot of coaches and GMs they kind of take their foot off the gas with letting them run the ball because they want them to last longer. But then that doesn't make any sense to me because the whole reason we're paying this guy is to run the ball. And if we're just going to let off the gas and not let him run the ball because we're scared of him getting hurt, then we shouldn't go out and pay this dude because he can run the ball like he can. And
I almost think take that guy in the first round, but don't take him in the top 5. Don't take him in the top 10. Take him lower in the draft because you're paying a guy to be your quarterback for like 5 to 8 years and not 10 to 15.
Yeah.
It's almost like that, but I'm as excited as the next guy to get a guy, Michael Vick, to tear shit up and be a human joystick. And, I don't know, a couple guys on my show last night was talking about getting Kyler Murray. I say, hell no, but he's like a human joystick. He's fun to watch, but I don't want him on my team.
Yeah, no. But he's super fun to watch, but I mean, fun to watch sometimes doesn't always win you Super Bowls, so that's the problem.
I mean, Michael Vick didn't take a promised land. There was a chance there with Philly, I think, but
yeah, I mean that's not always the best thing, and obviously that's why I don't want to run
too.
First.
He had a cannon.
Right, and that's why I don't really want to run first. Not a run first quarterback. I do like Anthony Richardson. That was one thing that was surprising. Obviously,
said he could develop.
He got injured because of running for the most part. I mean, he was that last shoulder injury. He was kind of dodging pressure, I guess. But the thing that was interesting about him is he did seem like he wanted to be a quarterback. Like there's definitely opportunities with his athleticism where he could have ran the ball and he decided to stay back and throw, which was something that was really impressive watching him early on. And if he doesn't keep getting injured, I do think he has a chance to be a good quarterback. And I think that him getting picked earlier might might be the right move. But like guys like Justin Fields, for instance, is a guy that's definitely, even though he hasn't been running as much this year, he's more of a run first type of quarterback. And then I mean, it's
he
crazy
seems
on
smart
the
about
hype.
it too. Like he didn't try to go for that 18 yards. He just slid when he was about to get hit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
I think he
crazy
was
the
making
hype
business
though.
decisions.
The hype that comes around these rushing quarterbacks, like Justin Fields,
Mm-hmm.
like he got astronomical hype coming into the season, like not even fair towards him. And then, you know, kind of came crashing down on him and the Bears and everything. So, I mean, that's the thing about that. And I have to agree too with that's what Caleb Williams, that's like the whole thing about Caleb Williams is he is kind of more of like a Mahomes type of deal where he's not really trying to run the ball. He's going to use his athleticism and everything to, you know, get away from pressure and extend the plays with his arm and stuff like that. And to a ridiculous extent, to the point that's the reason why he's so hyped right now. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with the quarterback situation. But right now, Kirk Cousins is our quarterback, and he did have a really good game. And overall, man, such a good game in general. And I'm super happy for Jordan Addison. Huge Jordan Addison fan from before the draft and everything. So I've been waiting for him to be used better in this. And I do think potentially moving forward, it could be a blessing in disguise with JJ being out a few games and Kevin O'Connell and everybody having to use Jordan Addison and figuring out how to use him as a wide receiver and using Brandon Powell, just having to hopefully
Jalen Naylor
relying on JJ, not relying on JJ and using the other talent, and specifically for me, Jordan Addison, and getting an idea that Jordan Addison is probably the one to be out there more often than KJ Osborne. And then when JJ comes back, you know, you can just kind of bring him back in, and then now you have Jordan plays already built up for Jordan Addison and things like that. So I think going forward, that's something that at least I'm looking forward to, and hopefully we see that with them. And if we're going to turn this season around, which this is going into next week, we have crazy momentum compared to the Packers, who Jordan Love's not that guy, and they're the opposite momentum, losing to a 1-5 Denver Broncos team.
Right?
But yeah,
Leighton, what do you what did you think Kevin O'Connell learned something this game? I mean, we mixed up the running game a little bit more with three. You know, we got even got our third running back in there in a few plays. And then the fact that we actually abandoned the run while we were winning, which was crazy to think about. We almost abandoned the run and we threw it constantly, and it worked. Mainly because of our offensive line giving us protection. So, and do you think he's realized that he needs Dalton Reisner in there, he needs Cam Akers in there, and don't take your foot off the gas any point in the game? Do you think he finally figured that out after beating the best team in the league?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if it was a matter of figuring him out. I think it was just a confidence thing. I think he just needed to put confidence in Kirk Cousins and know that he was going to take care of the ball, which he does. I think Kevin O'Connell had this idea of what he wanted to do if the Vikings got up, and I think he stuck to it no matter how the game went. 49ers have a hell of a front seven, and he knew running the ball was going to be difficult. But right from the jump, Madison had that gain of 20. First play of the game. That set the tone to, like, we're coming. Like, we don't care who's on your D-line. We don't care that you have Bosa. We don't care you have Fred Warner. Like, we're coming. I think he gained some confidence here. And then he gained some confidence with Addison being by himself and not having Justin Jefferson there to, throw him the ball. One-on-one coverage with a really good corner. Throw him the ball. Take chances. Kirk was moving in the pocket. I think Kevin O'Connell recognized that, and I think he just honestly gained a lot of confidence in the offensive line, Cam Akers. I think it was a matter of he wants to play Cam Akers a lot more, but he realistically did just get here, however long ago. It wasn't. He's still learning stuff. He's still learning the ins and outs to an Alexander Madison that's been here his entire career. So he
had Cam with the Rams. So
he
did. He had a leg up there.
Right. And I think I think it's more of just even Kirk Cousins getting used to Cam Akers. How does Cam Akers pick up blocks? Can Kirk Cousins trusts Cam Akers to pick up blocks sometimes. So I
That's
think it was just a
you
matter
bring
of
that point
everyone.
up. That's something I noticed a lot in this last couple games is Kirk is adjusting blocking protection. I didn't feel like he did that earlier on with Zimmer and even last year, but now it looks like he's adjusting all the freaking time, bringing guys
Right.
into the blocking. And Cam Akers, especially, I saw him several times bring him back in, and if he didn't blitz, Cam would go out. But did you see that too? Do you see that happening?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I saw a little bit of that on Monday, and then listening to Kevin O'Connell's press conference today, he even said, towards the end of practices or, when they're installing their plays for the week, Kirk Cousins has his own little time for a soapbox just to what Kirk Cousins saw on film, what he saw throughout the week on the other team, and what he wants the wide receivers or the offensive line or the running backs to do based on what he saw. So I think it's a lot of, Kevin O'Connell putting trust into Kirk Cousins. And I don't think he didn't trust Kirk Cousins before. I think, maybe he wanted to make sure, what he was saying got implemented and wasn't really focusing on what Kirk Cousins was seeing. But now that, he's letting him implement his own stuff, I think it's just meshing a lot better. I mean, this is, I mean,
I think he probably trusts
even
the line a lot more now because you're
Right,
talking about him
yeah.
moving around in the
Right.
pocket. Well, the pocket had room to move around in.
Right.
It's
For sure.
finally this year.
Dude, it's crazy
sure.
the difference that our offensive line
That was the
has
best
changed.
line play I've seen
10 years.
in
like
oh my
10
God,
years.
in so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
Against one of the best fronts in the entire league. If
Right.
not the best. Yeah.
Yep. National
And
TV. That's something that probably doesn't get talked about as much as just the fact that it was on national TV.
That
and
running
Kirk
play you were
Cousins and
talking about,
everything.
Madison.
Mm-hmm.
There's Darisaw leveling his dude, and then there's Dalton Reisner, one arm blocking a guy down the field that weighs over 300 pounds. And I'm like, God, I'm in love, man.
And I think, I hope the Vikings keep that, same style of play and just, I think they went out there Monday night, then say, we got nothing to lose.
Don't you feel like we were the more physical team?
Yeah,
in
for
that
sure.
game, and that's all we talk about is how they were physical.
Yes. And Harrison Smith was on the Pat McAfee show, and he said there was just this vibe in the locker room when they got there that, everyone was just having fun.
Creed.
Everyone's
all about
loose.
Creed.
All about Creed, yes.
Yeah.
It was just
I was on Amazon all day trying to find a cheap Creed t-shirt.
Yeah, it's funny because I was just looking at one of their because the Rangers, because I saw the Texas Rangers are like they've been the Creed team this whole time, and now the Vikings are kind of coming in and just snatching it up from them.
Well, a good point was Jordan Hicks said this, and after the Bears game about how they were trying to it's almost like manifest destiny. You believe it's gonna happen. It's like, okay, we're gonna practice our celebrations for when they turn the ball over, and then we get 3, right? And they did the same thing, and they designated Nikhil. Who was it? The new guy, the special teamer that we got this year, the walk-on, not the walk-on, but
Najee Thompson.
Najee Thompson is their coordinator for that. They were in Cam. Cam Bynum was talking about that they've actually gone back to what they were doing last year when they were having fun, and they're having fun. They're playing fast and loose, and the whole idea going out there and in Pat McAfee's show, Harrison Smith talked about that, how, we're having fun. We're trying to have fun out there. And so I think that's done it. Honestly, they're having fun and playing loose, and they're not worrying about turning the ball over.
And I mean, if we can keep this up and we can keep, keeping the tempo up on offense and not get conservative. And that's to me, that's what I've been asking all season. Even if we beat this 49ers team, like in the regular fashion, how we've been beating teams the last 2 years, coming back from behind, whatever, I would have been, obviously that would be a good step forward and we'd all still be excited. But for me, it was like, unless I see our offense be aggressive for 4 quarters and not have these little lulls in between, in the middle of games or in the start of games or whatever, like I'll have a hard time believing that we can actually turn things around until we see that. And this game, obviously against this team of all teams, we did that. So that's what I'm most excited about that. But I wanted to switch. Actually, I'm going to call out some people here real quick and then switch to some defensive stuff because I have something to say about that. We got Skol Mafia in the building. What up? What up? We smacking the pack. Let's go. Vikings fans, 1, 2, 3. We got Mateo in the building. And that reminds me, another show, another Justin Jefferson rookie card. Get those hashtag Skols in the comments. We'll run it after the show. We got some in there. We got Paul Skol. Paul, get that hashtag in there, buddy. Get that hashtag in there. Anthony, what up, Anthony? Get those hashtag Skols in the comments. Like the video if you haven't already, and go subscribe to Leighton at Strictly Football. Everything is in the description. And then, of course, subscribe to GG Sports Podcast if you haven't already, and Minnesota Sports Talk. Get those hashtag Skols in the comments. Anyways, defense. So 2 defenders who a lot of probably a majority of fans would have been completely okay. And man, maybe I wasn't, maybe I was one of them, but okay, if we moved on from them going into this season, and that is 1, Jordan Hicks, and 2, Cameron Bynum. And now both of them go back-to-back defensive NFC Defensive Player of the Week with Hicks last week and Bynum this week's. But Cam Bynum, how do we feel about him? Like, do you feel like Cam Bynum is treading towards like being a star safety? Because I think even before this game, obviously he's been playing pretty damn good throughout the season, but this game, that I mean the forced fumble was given to Harrison Smith, but I'd kind of say it was like him and Harrison Smith both. And then just the clutch interceptions on the last 2 drives for San Francisco 49ers. How are we feeling? It's not just Brian Flores, but even just the step up by Hicks and the step up by Cam Bynum. How are we feeling about those guys?
Yeah, I mean, Cam Bynum's been playing out of his mind. He has been a pivotal piece to this defense. I honestly don't know what happened in the offseason.
Right.
I don't know. I want what he's having.
I know.
He's having.
Yeah, he was not playing nearly anything like this last season. And you can't even say, oh, they're just giving him more workload. It's just Brian Flores. It's just the way he looks on the field is completely different than last year. I mean, he looks like more of a force. When teams are going to sit in the film room and watch that Vikings defense, they're going to call that dude out. They're not going to, I feel like last year it was more of, we'll stay away from Harrison Smith and we're going to pick on this dude. And now, honestly, I don't think it's flipped. I think it's more, these safeties are good.
Carrying his own weight.
And we can't let them determine the outcome of the game. And I think, honestly, the 49ers let them do that.
Right.
And then, Jordan Hicks has been playing out of his mind too. I was just thinking today when the Vikings signed Jordan Hicks, a couple off seasons ago, I was like, I didn't even bat an eye on it.
I was like, this is a solid player that's going to get you the tackles. And even last year, that's kind of how it felt with him. Like, it just, like, he got burnt a couple passing plays, and then it was kind of like, I don't know, him and Kendricks, it was, I wouldn't have been surprised if they both left. I did feel like we probably should have some sort of veteran presence, but I was leaning towards keeping Kendricks, even though he made the most financial sense to get rid of him. But I was really surprised to keep Hicks around just because I just felt like he just had an average season last year. And man, this year though, I mean, he's stepping up in a big way. Arguably in my opinion, between Danielle Hunter, Cam Bynum, and Hicks have probably been our best defenders, but our most consistent defender has been Jordan Hicks. I mean, he stepped up for that in that veteran presence in such a big way. I mean, and I mean, maybe it does for some of them, for a little bit, to some extent, has to do with Flores, and it just shows so much about how Flores is his defensive coordinator. Not just that, not just using the players to the best abilities, but man, scheming against offense instead of just using the same defense every single week, like Donatel last year. Is just such a big difference. And it is like the feeling, like, I think this team is better, more talented, especially with having Flores, than it was last year. And it is like something that we can feel like if there's going to be a turnaround, it can definitely happen. And like you said, like, obviously, I mean, a lot of us have talked about it, like us, we should have beat Philly. We should have beat the Chargers. We should have beat Kansas. Well, not for sure, but we went down there and almost tied that game or whatever and had a chance to maybe win it if we even got a couple calls. Like those are really good teams that most people had us losing to. We still lost them, and then even our wins were ugly, so it's just a lot of the same thing. So I understand like why it's easy to not feel confident that we're going to turn the season around. But if we can, I really think it comes down to us playing aggressive on offense the way we did in this game. And hopefully we can continue doing that. What up, Two-Toned? Tony, what up? Do that against this Packers team. And that's why I was thinking, switching focus over there a little bit. How are we feeling going into this game? I already talked about Denver Broncos and them upsetting the Packers, even though I don't even know if Packers deserve an upset at all. But yeah, where are you at with this game? I mean, are we feeling the momentum changing in this, and we're seeing a real turnaround coming?
I am. I'm feeling the momentum, but I also know what challenge Lambeau Field present itself. It feels like whenever the Vikings and Packers play, it doesn't matter the records. It doesn't matter who's in or who's out. It's going to be a dogfight. Honestly, I mean, you look back a couple of years ago when, Packers are 8-1, Vikings are 4-5, 4-4, whatever they are.
Right.
And the Packers come into US Bank Stadium and they lose, and the Vikings play out of their shoes.
Right.
I think it's crazy because the line, I think the Packers 2.5, 3-point favorites before Monday. And now I think the Vikings are 1-point favorites, which is
last
crazy.
I saw was 1-point dogs, but that could have changed. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on where you look too. But
taking that,
and I think we all know it's the Vikings at Lambeau. I feel like anything can happen.
We're the long spikes, man. Not like last year.
Yeah,
we look like we're skating around on glass.
Need to show them what's up. Yeah, that's right, Paul. That's what we got to do.
I think Kirk has a winning record in Lambeau. That's something.
Yeah, he plays well against the Packers. And like, what was it? Yeah, was it last year? Was it week one was in that was at our home,
Minnesota,
right?
Yeah.
At our home. Yeah. So we got destroyed.
Last year was we're down to our third center.
Right.
And
right.
I don't know why we decided to run it over our third center down at the goal line.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, the momentum is honestly flipped this year. This Packers team last year had however many wins in a row. They were catching their stride. They were trying to run the table to make the playoffs, which they almost did.
Yeah.
Honestly, and then the Vikings were like, the Vikings, I mean, they were obviously super high up, but the Vikings,
with the record,
they were on this roller coaster
we were
last
starting
year.
To come down to earth.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it was. And it feels like the momentum's kind of been flipped to where, the Vikings need to hit this run. They need to not obviously run the table, but, they need to win 3 out of their next 4 out of their next 5 to where the Packers they got all the doubt in the world right now. They're like, what are we doing with this team? And honestly, I think if Brian Flores is able to keep it up with this defense, I think he's going to give Matt LaFleur some trouble. Because I think Matt LaFleur is finally realizing his
Aaron
play
Rodgers
calls.
made me. Oh,
yes.
Okay, play calls.
Well, yeah, his play calls.
Right.
I was going to say his play calls he's acting like Aaron Rodgers is still there.
Right.
Or he's acting like Jordan
and
Love
I feel like we've
him.
already game planned against this exact quarterback like 3 times already. I feel like we kind of
own
this type of quarterback now, which anybody that had mobile quarterbacks we had the worst trouble with over the years. Not this year. It's like we're fine. Like Hurts.
The Flores effect, man.
Yeah. Flores is game planning really well. Sure, he gives up. We talk about our awful running defense, but we're not. We're middle of the pack. It's just like the couple of game plans we had. We gave up 160. We gave up 270, but we gave up 60, against the Chiefs, 3.9 a carry. It's like he's game planning for a specific team. And last year was like, hey, cookie cutter, bullshit, soft zone the whole game, all year long. Oh, you're going to like this week. No, it was the same every week, but now it seems like it's a different. And they're talking about us blitzing all the time, but we're also I think we're also one of the league leaders in dropping 8.
Yep.
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that today. Like we dropped 8 45 times already.
Dude, that just shows us so much about Flores. I mean, if you're because at least before last week we were number 1 in blitzes, and then if we're also the number 1 in dropping 8, you're just
towards the top. I don't know if we're number 1, but we're close to the top.
That's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. But that's another thing I want to say is, man, you got to love us with momentum's the best and the morale of this team. And that's one thing, like Casey, who is my co-host and usually on this show, he always says is like, even though KOC's other than this game for sure, but play calling can be questionable or whatever, but you love him as a leader, and the way he's came in immediately and really how he's brought our team together, the morale of this team, especially when we're doing good things, it's such a big thing. Like the whole Kirko chains last year and all the players together like that. And you're just after this one game, the Creed thing, JJ coming out with the top 10 chain, like all that stuff. And you can just feel that the morale is going up with this team in general. And not that it even went down. I mean, no matter what anybody said, every single player on our team came in and week out to tell us that they're not quitting. Like they think that they can definitely turn this around, and they've having all these conversations and stuff like that. So that's something that it's really fun to watch and something that we get excited for quite a bit. So I don't know. I do think
one of my tweets was about, I can't believe Justin Jefferson only thinks Kirk Cousins top 10.
Yeah. Which is what's kind of funny, because I was actually thinking that, like obviously, I think Kirk Cousins is a top 10 quarterback, and if you were to put a top 5 on him,
really top 3.
I think you're probably reaching. But it is interesting to go out and just give him a top 10 chain, because I'm like, I mean, that is I think, I don't know if that is like, if I'm Kirk Cousins, I'm probably aiming past top 10, because I probably already
Sports Center is the top 10 list, not the top 10 quarterback list.
I mean, I for the getting back to the Packers, I think it's you know, they don't have the world beaters that they used to, and I think the whole entire game plan is around Aaron Jones, and I think honestly, you know, those wide receivers, whatever, they're all right.
Look what we just did. Run MC.
Yeah.
For all the Packer fans that might be in here, sometimes we do get them in here. I doubt there is, but a lot of them saying that Christian Watson has more potential than Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. Crazy.
I don't think so.
I don't
think so.
That was they got top.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. That's what happened.
Season.
Right. Yeah, and I think honestly, I think it comes down to, I think it's going to be a pretty similar game plan to last week for defensive side of the ball. I think it's two kind of similar offenses, just not with the star talent of the Packers. But I think Flores is smart enough, kind of getting back to the Ed Donatel, to where last week worked. I'm not going to change anything. Okay, last week worked, but the Packers realized that it worked. They're going to switch stuff up on their end. Brian Flores needs to do the same. So I think, you know, it's easier. I always thought it's easier to watch film after a loss because you know what you need to work on.
Right.
To where the Vikings defense is going to watch film on this 49ers game. You know, they're going to be like, you know, we didn't do everything right, but, you know, we need to play like this. To where Packers are going to watch the Vikings defense and they're going to game plan for what they did against the Niners. So, you know, I think it all centers around Aaron Jones, because he's the dude who could go out there and single-handedly win you a game. And you know, Jordan Love isn't on that level yet. So
yeah. And AJ Dillon has not really looked that great when Aaron Jones has been on. And speaking of Aaron Jones, I mean, I think he didn't practice Wednesday. It does sound a little bit more precautionary than like as far as he's not playing. But I mean, if he's not a go, that would be obviously big for us, because I do think he is going to be the focal point. And especially, you know, Jordan Love doesn't have the best accuracy. And you don't have, and the receivers are kind of just iffy. You know, that's one thing. You got rid of Lazard last year. You got rid of, what's his name for the Bears now,
Cobb.
right?
Well, you got rid of Cobb. And
Cobb, the tight end. Who is their tight end? They got Musgrave now, but the tight end from a couple of years. Tanyan. Yep, they got rid of Tanyan.
Rob Tanyan, yeah.
So, I mean, Christian Watson, you guys kind of just banked on him and Dobbs. And then, you guys got that Jaden Reed or whatever, but there's just not that great. I mean, if there's anything in this game, I'm not worried about their offense at all, which is crazy to say. No. I mean, it's so funny. We can actually say sometimes, like, we're not worried about people's offense. Like, we feel our defense is solid enough. Like, we were excited if we were to get like the 20th best defense. And I think we're doing better than that. So that's huge.
Yeah, we jumped up the last 3 games. Like,
yes, especially. especially, and we played tough teams, Philly, San Francisco, the Chargers, and Kansas City. It doesn't really get much more difficult than that as far as high powered offenses go. So it says a lot about this defense. And I do think, I don't know. So I do think that's something we don't have to worry about. But as far as their defense, they still have some strong pieces there. And I know a lot of us were excited to see the Justin Jefferson, Jair Alexander matchup after last season. And now it's going to be Jordan Addison and Jair Alexander. Speaking of Jordan Addison, one second here, my guy Mateo here, who is a little bit of a doubter on Jordan Addison. I want to do a Jordan Addison check on Mateo. I kind of do this every week, but I feel like we're closing in on Mateo admitting that Jordan Addison is that guy. But yeah, anyways, so Jordan Addison, Jair Alexander, I think that's going to be the big matchup this week because he is a talented cornerback, and we don't have.
Also doesn't like Kirk Cousins.
There's probably a lot of most of our comments.
Does he like a player on the team?
What up? Hey, Sarah in the building and Skol for Life Barber. But yeah, so I just think overall, I mean, if there's one thing that we're probably worried about, it's more of their defense. They got Gary still. What's his name is what's their line? Walker is pretty solid.
Yep, Quay Walker. Well, I think Quay Walker actually. I don't know if Quay Walker's going to be playing. I think he's. I know he got banged up a couple weeks ago.
Okay. It's just a team we should win, or is it a team?
No, it definitely is.
And like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we wanna make the playoffs and we want to keep talking about the Vikings winning, this is a game you need to win. Yeah. This is a game you cannot afford to lose. And I know the schedule softens up, but it's a division game. You're going to need all of the wins you can get inside the division. And honestly, this is a team that's on the downward trend. And these are the games you got to hammer home, make them no questions. Just go in there, handle your business, and get out with a win. It needs to be. And I think honestly, I don't think it's going to be convincing, nor I just think it should be. I think it needs to be a convincing win to keep this momentum rolling. Because if you go in there and walk off field goal and you played like crap, it's just we're just feeling like we're in the same spot again. We got to win, but it's a really bad Green Bay team to where I feel like we should really stomp on them.
And that's exactly what we need to do. And this is something we've been calling for. Obviously, like I said, like this 49ers game, we haven't seen a game like this from our offense where you just play for all 4 quarters since week 1 against the Packers of last year. Maybe the last game against the Bears, but that was kind of a BS game or whatever. Right. But that's the difference. So this game, we did play for all 4 quarters. Obviously, you're against arguably the best NFL team in the league. You're not going to come out there and just whoop on them. But that is what we are waiting for. I mean, that's what I think would be like the confirmation of us turning the corner, is us going and beating up a bad team, like beating them up bad, not like you said, not playing down to a team like we did against Carolina and Chicago, 2 terrible teams. Yes. We need to go out and destroy the Packers. Like we need to drop a 30 spot on their head, 30 to 13 or something like that, like something crazy for us to really think we can turn around. And not just that, but to even like to be confident going into this trade deadline and not selling. And like, I know Danielle Hunter's been a big thing. And, like just 1 week ago before this game, I was like, I mean, it makes sense to trade Danielle Hunter at this time. Right. I want a 1st round pick, whatever. Cause I think he's super underrated, not number 1 in sacks right now. And people don't even have him in the conversation for defensive player of the year. But I mean, things have definitely changed, but even though you beat the 49ers, I mean, beating the Packers handedly would definitely make me feel more comfortable of even potentially being sellers at the deadline here. And that's what we need to see, is this offense just keep firing on all cylinders, man.
Yeah, 100%.
But we don't want to leave you or keep you on for too long here. We know everybody has some time. Sometimes these shows can go.
To notice that.
What's that?
I was waiting for you to notice the time.
I know I was I could tell that we were headed to that, but yeah. So, hey, let's end this with you. We'll probably stick around for 10 more minutes after Leighton gets off here, but let's do some score predictions in this game. And then we'll let you get off here. Should we? Oh, no, we'll end with you. So I'll start here. I already kind of said 30-13 earlier, just a couple of seconds ago. I'm going to rock with that. I do think we're going to come in this game. This is what I want to do for me to feel convinced that we're turning this season around. So I'm saying the Vikings are going to come in and smack this Green Bay team 30 points, 13. Defense is going to step up against a really not good Jordan Love, who's definitely not Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre. So that's nice. So yeah, 30-13. What do you got, Dave?
I was going to say 30-13, but I'll have to bump it up and say 34-17. Because I think it's a 17-point win.
Let's go.
I've never been right with that. I've never been right. I did, however, call the victory last week because I changed it right before game time after I found out Trent Williams was out. I made it 24-20 San Fran. So I felt pretty good about that. So I think I'm going to be right this week. And I'm going to say 34-17.
I went 20. I actually went 21-18. So I changed our last show. I went 21-18 Vikings. I was like, I'll be some optimistic. And then we won 22-18. No, 22-17, right?
Closer than me.
Yeah, I was one off on each side.
So we're both going to be right this week.
Yeah, exactly. What do you got, Leighton?
I'm going to go 27-20. The only way the Packers scored 20 is because they get a touchdown in the last 20 some seconds of the game. So okay, I think it's a convincing win, but I think, it's a Vikings game. There's still got to be that drama of we got to recover an onside kick or something like that. Yeah, I think it's a convincing win. But I think, in Lambeau, tough Greg game. Joseph, I think it's a one possession win. But I think it's more of a convincing win type feel. Just kind of like the 49ers game, like up the whole game, never really felt like it was slipping away from our hands kind of type game,
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. No, man, we appreciate you being on. We'll definitely have to have you on more often. It's been great, bro.
For sure.
Yeah, let's go Vikings, man. Let's go.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
See ya.
All right. Sorry, I saw this message here. I didn't read it. Dave, I like JJ Hunter, Roy Ward, Ivan Pace, Darius O'Neal. Jamie, I already tweeted I ate crow on Addison. Dave, okay, I missed your tweet, Mateo. Let's go. Dude, Addison, I mean, he is small. He gave
me his resume. Mateo, you gave me your resume. It's a good resume though.
He's big things come in small packages.
He likes Roy.
My wife doesn't agree.
All 3 snaps. But Roy's gonna be good. Jaquelin Roy, he's making the most of his limited opportunities.
Yeah, we need to see more of him. The whole Tonga thing, man. A lot of people were really high on Tonga. He didn't really. Yeah, I don't is he even on this team? I don't even know.
So, and then Pace had 7 snaps.
Did he really?
No shit,
bro.
Oh, geez, wow.
I did not know
zoomed
that.
out like breaking news.
Yeah,
7 snaps,
dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. I was actually wondering where he was, but I never looked into it. I think we just go safety all the time, man. Yeah, I mean, we use Metellus a lot, even though I would say Metellus isn't. Honestly, Miss Casey tonight.
All the defensive players, I think Metellus probably had one of the more rougher games.
Yeah, I'd say so far he hasn't really lived up to what we were hoping for when we give him the contract.
He's had some good ones, but
he did have that last week. He did have the forced fumble that Jordan Hicks brought to the house. So I mean, yeah, he's kind of been up and down so far, I'd say. But
yeah, I mean, he's still a plus player. But yeah,
play the whole. Yeah, we had 3 safeties play the whole game. I mean, maybe that's just what it called for. That's what I mean. This Flores thing is God. It's been a breath of fresh air.
Yeah,
just being able to come in and
11 snaps. We need to bump those numbers up.
Oh yeah, those numbers need to go up.
There's a far cry from the 24 he got the first game.
Right. Hey, Sarah's in the building with the hashtag Skol again. Just like every show, giving away Justin Jefferson snaps. Rookie card. Hashtag Skol in the comments. What's that?
Tonga had 5 snaps.
Who did? CJ?
It says Tonga had 5. Junior Pace had 5. Theo Jackson had more snaps than Ivan Pace Jr.
Ivan Pace is a rookie, though. I think that's another thing with Ivan Pace. It's, you got to be a little patient with him. How much did Asamoah have?
He got hurt in the special teams. He never had a snap on defense.
Okay, so it really was just Jordan Hicks out there then, huh? And then 3 safeties.
And a couple plays of Ivan Pace.
A couple plays of Ivan Pace. I don't know, man. Whatever we did,
Bullard's
it worked.
Been playing solid.
Who?
Bullard, Jonathan Bullard. Wanham stepping up.
He had that sack. Yeah, he had that I don't know when it was in the game, but like that tackle for the loss.
He like broke through the line, got that tackle for loss.
Yeah,
that was really big.
Big Mo Cool, let's go. Get them hashtag Skols in. That's what we're talking about. Turning the season around. I don't know. I feel great about it. Though I do, like we were just talking about with Leighton Rip before he comes off here. I do want us to see us go into this Packers game and just keep our offense just keeps rolling like this against a not very good team. And I don't know, we beat them handily. I think that's like the only thing we're missing for this turnaround to happen.
Well, this is where I always hold even though I predict a 17-point win, it's like it's still a road game in division.
Yeah, and it's road and specifically in Lambeau Field. Still though.
Well, good news is it's not the end of the. I don't know what the weather's gonna be like, but last year I think it was later in the year.
Right. Yeah, it was.
And we were sliding all over the field. Like Justin Jefferson couldn't keep his feet. He even changed his cleats before halftime. But then it was like too late. We lost some momentum, and it was just spiraled out of control. This time be more prepared. Going into this game. Don't recommend cleats. Tell them what to freaking wear.
Right. I know, and it'll be interesting. We're talking about the Jordan Addison, Jaire Alexander. I'm assuming their plan will be to be putting him on Jordan Addison as much.
Don't you think Addison probably is a more crisper route runner than Justin Jefferson? He's more compact. You know what I'm saying? Like
I think it's possible. It's hard to say. Like for me, I'm like, I don't know if I want
short.
Justin Jefferson's so insane, but dude, Jordan Addison that's what with him. Like I knew he was small coming in, but his routes are so crisp, and he's 21 years old.
I want to just say Justin Jefferson's longer. His route running is his ability to not slow down through the route, right? But Jordan Addison's one of those guys that will look like he can break ankles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and not even.
Justin has shown that, but
yeah, definitely a lot. I mean, obviously Jefferson's he has elite route running, and the thing with Jordan Addison is he's just gets away. Like he's a smaller guy, and he's not the fastest guy in the world or whatever, but he always creates so much space between him and the cornerbacks, and it'll be like the simplest. Sometimes it's so simple of a route, but you don't there's so much that goes into being a good route runner. It's not, you don't have to do a fake or anything like that to be a route runner. Sometimes it's like just the most little cuts that puts you in between two players. And like the first touchdown that Jordan Addison had, it wasn't like he did some crazy route, but it was just like the slightest thing he did to just get right between the two defenders and was wide open for Kirk Cousins to throw that ball to him. And then another thing about Jordan Addison, for this small guy who's not very fast, for him to take that ball out of Ward's hands the way he did and then stay on his feet and get that touchdown. Yeah, talk about redemption and talk about someone that's just plays bigger than he is. He 100% plays bigger than what he is. I
said this earlier in the year, probably after week one. It was after week one I said this. It was like when he gets interviewed and stuff and even preseason.
Is he supposed to play, Sarah? Do you know? Sorry.
I have his injury. I had the injury report up.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that today.
I just had it. Here we go. He's not on the. He's limited practice back.
Okay. We'll probably see some of him, I'm guessing.
Well, we'll talk about that, but I'll make my point first. Is that doesn't seem like the moment's too big for him. It's like I'm here, man. He's in the moment. He's like, I'm not nothing. This is not too big for me.
Yeah.
And he came into the league like that, let's get paid.
Yeah.
He flashy. And then this is another one of the reasons why I feel like this is he hung up on the coaches 3 times.
Yeah, I know.
And he was getting called. Just like, whatever. No, conversation's over. Click. No, we're trying. No, they call him back. Okay, it's over. And then did it again, 3 times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's just like, all right, I'm here. I'm drafted. Let's play. Where's the fucking ball? That's the kind of player he is. And, I think some people probably thought he'd be a prima donna type of guy based on the way he showed up at the draft. But no, he's not like that.
No,
he's
not at all.
Play football.
And he's good.
He just wants to go.
Right. Oh, obviously.
I think
150
it was
miles per
Kirk
hour to
Cousins
70.
talked about him as like, hey, he was saying, hey, what kind of plays you like? And he's like, I like the post.
Just simple. Well, what's really funny about
touchdown.
and I tweeted it out like yesterday or something. And speaking of what I'm about to say here, the Wolves are playing. We're probably not going to be on for much longer because the Wolves are playing their first game of the season as we speak. I haven't even checked anything on it yet. But after the game, Jordan Addison met up with Jaden McDaniels, and I'm not sure if you know much about Jaden McDaniels, but he has like the same nonchalant type of attitude, and he's a guy who's arguably the best defender in all of basketball right now. I mean, statistically, last year he was. I mean, he's not getting his flowers for it, but he's just somebody that is just like he just reminds you of the same personality that Jordan Addison has, but he also has that like fire in Jaden McDaniels has that fire in him that like he punched a wall last season. I mean, before coming out of college, you would never expect it. Oh, Jordan Addison too. Like Jordan Addison doesn't seem like the guy that's gonna hop behind a Lamborghini and go 150. His personality doesn't seem like that.
It was the grocery getter version of a Lambo, but yeah.
Right. But yeah, that's the thing that's funny though.
He got the family vehicle version of Lambos.
But that's what's funny though is Jordan Addison and Jaden McDaniels are buddying, like they're becoming friends and stuff. And I just thought it was hilarious because they literally are like that. They're the same version for the Timberwolves. Jaden McDaniels is Jordan Addison is for the Vikings. Way taller. He's way tall. He's like 6'11" or something. So Jesus. There's a picture and Jordan Addison's just a little guy next to him. But I thought it was hilarious. They both wear number 3. So it was like I posted a tweet that said like the friendship that I didn't know we needed. And it's just funny because they're literally like the perfect friends that I didn't even think about. And it's funny, of all people of all of our sports, that's who Jordan Addison decided to buddy up with. But I think
I'm gonna watch more basketball this year just because I want to.
And we're going to start being good. And the Celtics are going to suck this year. Mateo's Celtics guy, even though Celtics are going to be actually really good. And I'm in Boston and I have like 2 of their players on my basketball fantasy team. So
you going to go to the Garden and watch them play?
They're not playing the Wolves, even though I have a hard time going to games that my team isn't in. Like I went to
playing the Wolves this year.
They're playing not when I'm here. We play the Celtics at home in December, but not here. I have not had good luck out here with sports. Like even the Red Sox, I think we played them at home or something. But I did go to Fenway. But even there, I'm like, I don't know, man. I think I'm such a homer to the point where I'm like, I just want both these teams to lose. Like I don't want anyone to win other than my team. Like I don't enjoy sports as much when it's just not my team. I'll still go do it, but I'm not getting the same thing out of it. So
I'm not getting the same thing, but I would go to. I'd go to a game if I didn't have family commitments.
But yeah, I'd go, but I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, like if it's a fight, like I would go out of my way if it's one of our teams are playing. But
you want to talk about their injury report real quick before?
Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll hop off.
Jair Alexander, we said limited practice. Zane Anderson,
don't know who that is.
SAF, strong as fuck.
No way, Mateo. What?
Safety? What? I'm missing. SAF.
Safety.
Oh, yeah, just safety. Okay, I thought it was like an acronym.
No.
All right.
No.
Safety.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm used to seeing just S for safety, but it's safety. Devondre Campbell, outside linebacker, ankle, limited practice. Zane Anderson was full practice. Elgton Jenkins, guard, knee, limited practice. Is he a starter? I don't know. Aaron Jones did not practice, hamstring. Might be good news. That'd be big. They didn't have. I think we can handle, Dylan. Aaron Jones is the one that usually gave us problems.
Right. Even though this year we have not been so bad against these pass, like we kept Christian McCaffrey had 3 yards of character. Yeah, 3 yards of carry. He had that one screen that he brought to the touchdown. Outside of that, we kept him in check better than anybody has this entire season. Yeah.
Luke Musgrave ankle did not practice. Josh Myers center did not practice. Is he their starter?
I have no idea.
Shit, I don't know.
Hopefully.
Dash Nijman,
They got a lot of players.
Tackle, knee, limited practice.
Okay.
Christian Watson, knee, full practice. Devontae Wyatt, D tackle, limited practice.
Okay, yeah, Wyatt was the tackle that they picked in last year's draft from Georgia. So what's ours looking like?
Brian Asamoah did not practice, ankle. We saw him get hurt. TJ Hawkinson, tight end, did not practice. Tight end, I'm saying their position. Did not practice, foot. Remember that guy landed on him and stretched out his foot?
Oh, yeah.
I was a little worried about that. Like, it would have been like
we dodged some bullets in this game. There was a couple times
I was worried about
that
injury.
And then
Ezra Cleveland, limited practice. I almost wanted to sit one more game. Not that he had a bad year. I think Dalton Risner was just better.
That's so crazy if he just takes over Ezra and Ed Ingram just becomes a solid player.
I saw one play with Ed Ingram that they ran a stunt and they got beat.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Brian O'Neill just ran into each other. It's always a one big ass play.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Naylor, hamstring, limited practice. I really hope he gets a chance to come in and show his stuff.
I know.
Justin Jefferson comes back, but
dude, imagine it could have been it could have been Naylor out there instead of Brandon Powell last week.
Did you hear in like the interview, press conference of Kirk Cousins? He's talking about how he texted Brandon Powell about how that's the kind of player I saw you in preseason, that you get separation, and that's what I expected from you, and and gave him a lot of praise in that press conference. And it's the amount of detail he knew about him. Well, he was a running back in college, and he did this in college, and he was just naming all the talking about and he said this earlier about when he came to the Vikings, and he was talking to the coaches, and they were talking about, well, we got Adam Thielen. He was this Division 2 wide receiver walk-on guy that we had, but he was like, okay, all right, and 1,300 yards, the first season, 2018,
right?
But
right.
So he does his homework on these guys. He knows all about them.
Akers needs to be RB1. Yeah, I think at this point, at least split them for now. But you give it to the hot hand, man.
Yeah, hot hand, and I don't expect Madison to be that hot hand. He did have a good run. He did have one really good run.
But Cam Akers, that's another thing about Madison that I'm noticing now is just he kind of dances a little bit too much behind the line of scrimmage. And I like for someone that doesn't really have the burst and speed to go along with that. And that's like something that I'd rather see from Cam Akers. And that's something that a lot of people complained about Cook last year, even though Cook does have the speed to break a game open. But that's something with Madison now. It's like, yeah, he might have that 20-yard run, but if he was a faster running back, like who knows where that goes, So I think
I saw someone putting out some speculation. Should the Vikings trade for Dalvin Cook?
Oh, I've been seeing that for a while, which at this point, no. Honestly, if we didn't have Akers and we could I probably would. If we didn't have Akers, we could just get
Cook got Dalvin Cook and Akers. I felt just not the breakaway, not as big a breakaway, but he's fast. He's not.
Yeah,
not.
He is.
Look what he did with that screen pass, man.
Yeah, I think he ran like a 4.39 or 4.3 sub 4.4.
He's quick, and I think he's shiftier.
And he stayed up.
I think he catches better. He's just an all-around back.
His little catch and run. I think it was a catch and run. I mean, he was going through. I mean, he was breaking tackles.
We were like second. We were second and 24, right? And we got 10 yards back, and then we ran a screenplay right into a blitz, and he caught it, turned it, and broke tackles, took us down to the 4-yard line.
Dude, yeah, that's the play I was talking about. Sodak, fun fact: I forgot about that. Akers took over for Cook at Florida State.
Yeah, freshman year.
Our screens kicked in finally. Yeah, that's funny. Is that, I mean, again, it's so funny that we just want these screens so bad. Like KOC must have, like, his philosophy must be built around screens because he will not let it go. And I mean, there was that one where the pressure came on super. I forgot who he threw it to, but the pressure came on super hard on the right side of the line, and it ended up being like the perfect screen, the best.
That was the one we're talking about.
Is that
Cam Akers?
That was a screen.
Cam Akers went like this, sidestepped the dude. Both dudes came by, and
it was Ty Chandler. No, Ty Chandler was the Jordan. Talking about creative plays, the Jordan that got taken back. The Jordan Addison
He also had another screen. He had
Chandler.
one too. He had a screenplay too.
And Ty Chandler looked good. That's another thing about Jordan Addison I really like is you're starting to feel comfortable and more confident with Jordan Addison, where you're drawing up plays like that for him. And not just that, and the defenses as well. I mean, the only way that works, I think, is if the defense is like, oh, like it's to Jordan Addison, so you got to bring your players over there. But that was such a cool play and something that we just don't see from KOC often enough. I'd like to see something like that.
Wasn't
at least
that
like
the
just once
Justin
a
Jefferson
game.
throwback from remember that play last year, early in the year?
Jefferson's actually he does it pretty good at that too.
Hey, at least we're not throwing it back to Kirk.
Yeah, right.
What game was that? Was that the Giants game?
I don't remember.
The playoffs?
I think it was definitely towards the end.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? Because it was right after a timeout, right?
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
And we decided to run it at third. It was third down too.
Hope the refs are looking out for all the holding that the Packers line gets away with all the time. Those bastards are known for holding. Yeah, we'll be seeing. But hey,
maybe they're not going to protect. There's no Aaron Rodgers to protect this year.
Right. All right, guys, let's give this card away here. I have a better view than this, but it messes up my stuff. So get those hashtag Skols if you haven't already. We're going to run this pretty quick. Have to be here to win. Y'all already know that. Yeah, it was the playoffs. Such a stupid play. I mean, yeah, just make sure it's to, your more athletic players if you're going to be doing stuff like that. But I want to go back up here. Mateo, boy, Celtics would dog the Wolves. Wolves are bums compared to the Celtics. Calm down, little bro.
Oh, I remember because we didn't get the first down and we still ran the same play. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. Like, yeah, we didn't get the first down. Change the fucking play.
Right. I do want to say real quick though, the Wolves are they're coming around here. This is going to be their season. The Celtics will probably do well in the East just to choke again. I think that's just what the Celtics are now. Choke artists. Anthony Edwards is on the rise. I already know Mateo knows Anthony Edwards is on the rise. Even though I do like the acquisition of Drew Holiday. Dude, I'm wondering what he's doing right now.
He works hard. He's going to be a star because he works.
He's probably he might end up being the biggest star we've ever seen in Minnesota sports. Specifically because basketball
Garnett was
I think he's going to beat him. Just from he is so
different position, scoring.
He's so likable, but he's so likable. Like from a media standpoint of a star, like even though people love KG and he has, we know what KG's like, his no BS attitude or whatever. But Anthony Edwards, like everything he does goes viral and stuff, and it's going to be like from a media side.
Well, it's KG was before. KG was before social media
and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. That's why I think for instance, Anthony Edwards is probably up there with some of people's favorite player. And then even if he's not just people from our team, KG, the Celtics legend. All right, Mateo, get out of here, dude. He goes over there and wins a championship. All right, let's do this giveaway here. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Who do we got today? Is it going to be Sarah? I think it could be. Let's see. Who we got? Boom. Mateo. That should be no surprise.
He doesn't deserve it.
And I think Sodak, you still haven't won one, right? Man, we need to get Sodak a win here. Mateo, honestly, Mateo might have won more than Sarah has. Winning against the Packers. I forget Perna cursed on us on his curse wheel. We're winning that game. It's gonna be dominant. We're turning this season around. It's official. It's gonna be official after this week. That's when I'll say it was official. Let's go, Mateo. I guess you talking shit about my Wolves. I don't know. Must bring good luck. I don't like it, but Sodak hasn't won. We're going to get you a win here, Sodak. We're going to get you a win. I'm gifting to Sodak. Next one I win. Yeah, we're going to get Sodak a win here soon. 100%. 100%. But all right, everybody, we thank you for hopping in here. I need to go. Yeah, Skol Mafia was going on he was going on a streak there for a second. He won like 3 in a row once, and then it has been a little bit since. Congrats, Mateo. Let's go, Joey. But yeah, guys, I need to go catch the end of this Wolves game. This is this year the Wolves make it past the first round of playoffs. So I'm excited to watch them. But thanks everyone for watching this. Let's go out and beat the Packers in a convincing win. I want to go and destroy them. And since I feel like I have a little bit more confidence that might be possible after this last game. So let's get it going. Great show, studs. Let's go, Gary. Appreciate you. I haven't won since draft night. We got to get you one, Joey. We got to get you one. We got to get you all one. You know, we'll be here Monday. But all right, everybody. Appreciate you all hopping in. Let's go Vikes.